Thanks for staying with us. Time now for Across Africa, our weekly look at stories from across the continent. I'm Georgia Calvin-Smith, and this week, since a fragile 2022 peace deal ended Ethiopia's war between Tigrayan fighters and federal forces, the northern region continues to wrestle with humanitarian crises sparked by the conflict, but there are also signs of recovery. And for the first time, Zanzibar commemorates the abolition of slavery. The island's part of Tanzania and was a key stopping off point for Arab slavers across East Africa for hundreds of years. And Somaliland's basketball trailblazers have some pretty clear goals in sight. The Hargeisa girls are the first of a maiden generation of keen female players of the sport in the breakaway territory at the heart of a struggle with Somalia. But first, it's been about 19 months since a peace deal officially ended the devastating two-year war in the northern Ethiopian region of Tigray, in which a conservatively estimated 600,000 people were killed and millions displaced. Disruptive fallout from the conflict between Tigrayan fighters and federal forces continues, but despite the ongoing humanitarian problems, the capital, Mekelle, is slowly emerging from the shadow of war.
After 2 years of war, the sound of gunfire has been replaced by loud machinery. Where soldiers and civilians once fell, buildings are now going up, an attempt to leave the region's dark history behind.
People are finally finding some relief after many hardships. When there is peace like this, people can focus on their livelihoods.
The two-year war between Ethiopian federal forces and Tigrayan rebel authorities, marked by atrocities on both sides, killed roughly 600,000 people, forced several millions from their homes, and triggered widespread hunger. As both sides fought for control of Mekelle, the regional capital, they imposed a de facto blockade: no access for humanitarian workers, no access for media, and no internet. More than 90% of Tigray's health facilities were damaged, looted, or destroyed. In this post-war context, authorities made infrastructure their priority.
We are building around 12 roads in the city. We are also working on 2 hospitals that are currently in progress.
During the war, both sides recruited civilians en masse to fight in their ranks. Herman Moran is one of them. He fought with Tigray's People Liberation Front and was forced to disarm and demobilize after the war. He's now working on rebuilding this former battlefield.
Now that the war has ended, there's peace. If this peace continues, all public services such as telecommunications, hospitals and schools will bring about substantial change.
The road to reconstruction could nonetheless be a rocky one. The cash-strapped Ethiopian government estimated it could cost up to 20 billion euros.
Now, a geographical indication is a mark of authenticity that a product comes from a specific place. It reassures customers on the lookout for certain characteristics or level of quality. And one of the products protected by the African Intellectual Property Organization is the spicy uniqueness of Penja white pepper, grown on Cameroon's coast. Our team reports.
This 3-hectare white pepper plantation lies in Penja in the Mongo division of Cameroon. Rosalie owns the land. She's one of Cameroon's oldest female white pepper farmers and still uses traditional techniques for cultivating her crops.
The Penja white pepper is so special because it is grown on volcanic land and it is done in a very natural way. We don't need fertilizers or pesticides.
A few kilometers away, the popular crop is harvested by around 400 members of the brand. The seeds go through strict quality control processes after this. René Claude Metomo has headed the brand since 2011. He keeps an eye on things and makes sure customers can count on getting the real deal when they buy the plantation's white pepper.
If you're looking for a Penja pepper, there is only one criteria. If you go to a supermarket, the packs are stamped IGP, Penja white pepper. It's an official stamp. This means that on that stamp, there's a number which can enable us to trace the origin of the product.
400 tons of white pepper are produced each year between November and April, with 40% of that reserved for exportation. It can be tough to keep hold of Penja white pepper's market share. Its producers lose income as sellers in local markets often try to pass off other types of pepper as being from Penja. In a bid to regulate the sector, the African Intellectual Property Organization set up an international conference on branding recently in Douala, the economic capital of Cameroon.
Amongst the member states, we have a certain number of products with a geographical label. And we have noticed that on the markets, these products sell twice or 3 times more than the products with no label. It creates added value.
Penja white pepper was the first product from sub-Saharan Africa to get a designation of origin and quality awarded by the European Union in 2013.
Now, June saw Zanzibar for the first time commemorate the abolition of slavery. The Tanzanian island was at the heart of the trade in human life for hundreds of years and was a key stopping-off point for Arab slavers across East Africa. Our Bastien Renouy attended the Day of Remembrance of the suffering caused.
I'm on Kelele Square. Kelele is a Swahili word meaning noise. The noise of all the slaves who were gathered here in early 19th century. This was a huge slave market. It's unclear how many slaves were sold in Zanzibar, but at least hundreds of thousands. Zanzibari slave traders were going to the African continent. They were capturing men, women and children. Here, they were either exploited in cloth plantations or they were sold to other traders. Most of the merchants were Arabs coming from Oman, and a smaller proportion were Europeans bringing their slaves to Réunion Island, Mauritius or the Seychelles.
A day like this is very special in the calendar of bringing together global harmony, of bringing together the whole context of heritage in terms of awareness, in terms of education, in terms of cultural cohesion, in terms of bringing forth the principles of peace and harmony within our communities.
So why did they choose that date? Because on the 6th of June 1873, Zanzibar officially abolished the slave trade, but it's important to mention that it persisted till 1909. Now local authorities say they would like to organize this event every year. Their ultimate goal is to organize the event across the Indian Ocean. They would like to invite every islands who were involved in the slave trade, but they will have to find a common date. Of course, the local authorities would like to organize it on the 6th of June, but Réunion Island is organizing the commemorations on the 20th of December and Mauritius on the 1st of February.
Bastien Renouy there for us. Now, Somaliland's first all-girls basketball team are hoping to put their country on the map with their skills on the court. Hagisa Girls was founded in 2018, but has already racked up a pretty hefty online following, which has led to enough other female teams being created since to form an all-girls league.
Young women dribbling through the courts and shooting hoops. A most unusual sight in conservative Somaliland, northern Somalia, at the bottom of the UN gender equality ranking. Without help from local authorities or her school, Asfa Omer took it upon herself to bring girls together on this court.
Like we were 7 of us, but then afterwards we started becoming bigger, and now we're almost 30 girls playing in that basketball court under the name of the Hargeisa Basketball Girls.
Since she founded the squad in 2018, other female teams have sprung up. They now play in an all-girls league, challenging the conservative social attitudes and religious beliefs in Somaliland.
We're being told that we cannot play. Girls are not supposed to be playing, not only basketball, but any kind of sport.
Her dream is to one day represent Somaliland, but that's easier said than done. Somaliland declared independence from Somalia in 1991, but was never formally recognized. The group is now determined to put their team and their country on the map.
Somaliland is looking for their recognition, and we believe that we could be part of bringing the recognition from this by wearing the flags, by talking about our country.
Somaliland's sovereignty came into sharp relief in January when local authorities said they would grant landlocked Ethiopia access to the Red Sea in return for recognition as an independent country, sparking a diplomatic row with Somalia's federal government.
Now, going forward, Facebook and Instagram's parent company, Meta, has to pay Kenyan and Nigerian content creators who use its platforms. Until now, Egypt and South Africa were the only African countries to benefit from similar terms. Our team reports.
Shiluba is preparing his latest video. This influencer uses social media to get visibility and promote his dance lessons. But until now, he had never been paid by the platforms.
There has to be an incentive for me to go through all that hassle. I'm more incentivized to push and make my content more high quality if I know there's a benefit. So this is a welcome move. It shows African or Kenyan content creators that they have a space at the table.
From now on, Shiluba will be paid on his mobile phone. Authorities negotiated with Meta directly. Kenya is hoping to create revenue through digital content. Around 20% of the population uses social media. More and more young people see this as an opportunity.
It's a bit late because we've been making content for a while now. I think with financial support, a lot of people would be a lot more confident and encouraged to join the content creator space.
But experts are warning that the sector is not sufficiently regulated in Kenya.
How are they going to equate the kind of pay that content creators are able to make? And we already know that the algorithms are not fair. They are skewed toward the global north and not the global south. So there are a lot of shifts and changes that will need to happen while the monetization is being processed.
Several platforms have faced criticism due to unequal payment received by content creators. On some social media platforms, with an equal number of views, an American earns 10 times more than an African.
Well, that's it for Across Africa for now. Thanks very much for joining us, though, and do so again if you can. Till then, take care.
Trust is our most precious asset. Every day, around the world, France 24, RFI and Monte Carlo Doualier join forces to bring you free, independent, verified, balanced information that fights manipulation, and in 21 languages. France Média Monde has been awarded the Journalism Trust Initiative Standard, which guarantees the professionalism and reliability of our international news media with a score of 100%. Trust is not automatic. It must be earned and cultivated. Thank you for your trust.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.